మరికొద్దిసేపట్లో ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలోని సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపం నుండి ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారాలను మీరు వింటారు. దయచేసి వేచి ఉండండి.
Sai Ram, dear listeners, live broadcast of the proceedings from the Sai Kulwant Hall at Prasanthi Nilayam will follow shortly. Please stay tuned.
సాయిరామ్. మరికొద్దిసేపట్లో ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలోని సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపం నుండి ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారాలను మీరు వింటారు. దయచేసి వేచి ఉండండి.
गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय मेधा देवी जुषमाना न आगात् विश्वाची भद्रा सुमनस्यमाना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेम विदधे सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टऋषिर्भवति देवि त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीरुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वद्रविणो न मेधे मेधाम इन्द्रो ददातु मे मेधा सरस्वती सामा मेधा सुरभिर्जुषताग स्वाहा आमा मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगति जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामा मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ताम् मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि अग्निस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि इन्द्र इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
अहं रुद्रेभिर्वसुभिश्चराम्यहमादित्यैरुत विश्वदेवैः अहं मित्रावरुणो बाभिर्म्यहमिन्द्राग्ने अहमश्विनो बा अहं सोमामाहनसं बिभर्म्यहं त्वष्टारमुतपूषणं भगम् अहं दादामिद्रवीणम् अविश्वाते सुप्राव्ये यजमानाय सुन्वते अहं राष्ट्रे सङ्गमानि वसूनां चिकितुषे प्रथमा यज्ञियानां तां मा देवा व्याधदुः पुरुत्रा भूरिस्तात्रां भूर्या वेशयन्ते मयासो अन्नामत्तियो विपश्याति यः प्राणेति य एं शृणोत्युक्तम् अमन्तभौमान्त उपक्षियन्ते श्रुतिश्रुतः श्रद्धिवन्ते वदामि अहमेव स्वयमिदं वादामि जुष्टम् देवेभिरुतमानुषेभिः यं कामयेतं तामुग्रं कृणोमि तं ब्रह्माणं तं ऋषिं तं सुमेधाम् अहं रुद्राय तनुरातानोमि ब्रह्मद्विशेषरावेहन्तवाहो अहं जनाय समदं कृणोम्यहं द्यावा पृथिवी आदिवेश अहं सुवे पितरामस्य मूर्धन्मम योनिरप्स्वा अन्तः समुद्रे ततो वितिष्ठे भुवनानुविश्वोतामोऽद्यां भस्मणोपस्पृशामि अहमेव वाता इव प्रभाम्यारभामाना भुवनानि विश्वा परोधिवा परयेन पृथिव्यैतावाति महिना सम्बभूव ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सहस्रपरमा देवी शतमूला शताङ्कुरा सर्वगुं हरतु मे पापं दूर्वा दुःस्वप्ननाशने काण्डात् काण्डात् प्ररोहन्ति परुषः परुषः परे एवानो दूर्वे प्रतनुसहस्रेण शतेन च या शतेन प्रतनोषि सहस्रेण विरोहसि तस्यास्ते देवीष्टके विधेमः हविषा वयम् अश्वक्रान्ते रथक्रान्ते विष्णुक्रान्ते वसुन्धरा शिरसा धारयिष्यामि रक्षस्त्वमां पदे पदे न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकन्निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते दद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्त विज्ञान सुनिश्चितार्था संन्यास योग धृतयः शुद्ध सत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृतात् परिमुच्छन्ति सर्वे दह्रं विपापं परमेष्मभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यसग्रस्थम् तत्रापि दह्रं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यम् यो वेदादौ स्वरः प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयं गामश्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वारथमध्यां हस्तिनारप्रबोधिनीं श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीमादेवी जुषताम् कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारामार्द्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदारां तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां ऋणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोऽथ बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसानुदन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः उपैतु मां देवसखः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे क्षुत्पिपासामलां ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वां निर्णुद मे गृहात् गन्धद्वारां दुरादर्शां नित्यपुष्टां करीषिणीम् ईश्वरीगुं सर्वभूतानां दामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् मनसः काममाकूतिं वाचः सत्यमशीमहि पशूनां रूपमन्नस्य मयि श्रीश्रयतां यशः कर्दमेन प्रजा भूता मयि सम्भव कर्दमा श्रियं वासय मे कुले मातरं पद्ममालिनीम् आपसृजन्तु स्निग्धानि चिक्लीतवस मे गृहे निच देवी मातरं श्रियं वासय मे कुले आर्द्रां पुष्करिणीं पुष्टिं पिङ्गलां पद्ममालिनीं चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः आर्द्रां यःकरिणीं यष्टिं सुवर्णां हेममालिनीं सूर्यां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं प्रभूतं गावो दास्योश्वान् विन्देयं पुरुषानहम् महालक्ष्मी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my most humble and reverential salutations at the divine lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Esteemed elders, dear sisters and brothers, my loving Sai Ram to you all. Navaratri is a time when the Shakti aspect of divinity is worshipped. Why do we worship 9 days and nights? Why not any other number of days? The mother is celebrated for 9 days in 3 forms as Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. These 3 forms of mother have 3 Shaktis or energies attributed to each of them, giving the total of 9 forms of divine energy to be gained during the period of Navaratri. These Shaktis are latent in us and each connects us to the next higher energy. The first 3 days of Navaratri, we worship Mother Durga. The 3 energies of Mother Durga are fearlessness, self-confidence, and positive action. One who is fearless only can have self-confidence and do actions which are positive for the self as well as for the universe. Once equipped with the above energies, one gets to manifest within the attributes of Mother Lakshmi, which is wealth, auspiciousness, and abundance in the physical, mental, and spiritual realms. Once we are equipped with auspiciousness combined with the 3 qualities of Goddess Durga, we are not only empowered but can empower others too. Then we begin to treat everyone as the divine power. Auspiciousness makes one the owner of Mahadana. Mahadana means one who is always enriched with auspiciousness. In this state, we needn't pray for auspiciousness, it comes to us. When we nurture the Shaktis of Mother Durga, we automatically acquire the Shaktis of Mother Lakshmi, followed by the three energies of Mother Saraswati. The three energies of Mother Saraswati are knowledge, wisdom, and ultimate wisdom. Bhagwan says, I am God, you too are God. Doing sadhana helps us to elevate our consciousness to know and experience that we are indeed divine. Experiencing that Bhagwan inside us, we are elevated to the highest level of wisdom, Medha. All these 9 attributes, namely fearlessness, self-confidence, positive action, wealth, auspiciousness, abundance, knowledge, wisdom, and ultimate wisdom are in and around us. Bhagwan gracefully allows us to connect to Him alongside allowing us to nurture these energies. Navaratri ignites in us these attributes. It is on us to sustain that connectivity. How to sustain that connectivity? First, by worshipping the form, and then through the worship of form, understanding Parabrahma beyond form. We also have the opportunity to chant Vedas, to have that spark in every thought, word, and deed. We are all blessed equally to learn this divine sound energy to help us have magical connect with each energy. We are in an environment that aids completely in achieving this goal. Prasanthi Nilayam is the energy center of the world, and we are given the blessing to understand Shakti in the very presence of Shakti. The only effort to be taken is to realize that divinity inside us, so that Navaratri remains us throughout the year. Today is also the 9th day of Navaratri, when Mother is worshipped as Goddess Siddhidatri. The word Datri means giver, and Siddhi is spiritual powers attained through ascetic practices and meditation. Siddhidatri means the bestower of Siddhis. According to Devi Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva attained all the 18 Siddhis from Goddess Siddhidatri. When prayed to wholeheartedly, the compassionate Mother also removes the ignorance within us and blesses with Siddhis or eternal powers required to attain self-realization. Thus, today is the right day to pray to Mother Siddhidatri for all these energies. In the 22nd shloka of Saundarya Lahari, it is said that when an earnest devotee calls out to Mother and says, O Bhavani, kindly shower your merciful glance on this servant of yours and prays to her for liberation, Mother grants it. And we have got Bhagwan, who gives everything, and if asked, who gives himself too. This Navaratri, let's pray to Bhagwan what Shankara prayed. May all my actions become worship unto you. May my prattle become uttering your prayer. The manual work I do, the mudras or gestures employed in thy worship. May my loitering be pradakshina around thee, my taking nourishment as offering oblations to thee, my lying down as prostration before thee, and my attending to all other comforts as dedicating my entire self to thee. Now, I have the honor of introducing the speaker for the day, Dr. Ms. Kiran Bala Arora, Honorary Associate Professor, Department of Hindi. And former warden, Sri Satya Sai Women's Hostel, Ananthpur campus. Madam's journey with Bhagwan started in the year 1969 as a teenager. Madam completed her undergraduation from Sri Satya Sai Arts and Science College for Women in 1977 and went on to do her MA and PhD from Sri Venkatesha University at Swami's command. In 1984, with Bhagwan's direct intervention, Madam joined Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning as a faculty member in the Department of Hindi. Apart from being an inspiring teacher, Madam is also a versatile artist, a poet, and an active yoga practitioner. She was also a part of the first women's brass band of the campus. Madam is a mentor par excellence and has influenced the lives of many students. I have personally loved Ma'am's classes filled with rare experiences with Swami and her disciplined care at the hostel. Acquaintance with Ma'am has helped many students connect to Bhagwan and experience him in their lives. Madam was guided at each step of her life by Bhagwan and has extremely rare experiences which every devotee yearns for. I invite Ma'am to address us. Dr. Kiron Bala Arora.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My loving salutations at the divine lotus feet of Bhagwan. My Sai Rams to all the brothers and sisters fortunate to be here in the presence of Bhagwan on this 9th day of the Navaratri. These 9 days of the Navaratri, the eternal, indestructible Shakti is worshipped in many forms and in different names. This is spirituality. But if I were to substitute the word Shakti with energy and say, energy is indestructible. It changes forms and gets different names. It becomes science. Because after all, it is that one supreme power which takes various forms and names to reach out to all of us. There are many scriptural texts which are followed, and people do parayana on these 9 days to fill the days with divine contemplation. There is also this Durga Saptashati, which usually I read during these days. In this, there are 13 chapters, and in each chapter, this power of the Shakti is channeled to destroy the demoness hoods. Why these episodes are all centered around the mother destroying the evil? It is because the evil in the mind projects itself out. And there has to be a solution for this. So what happens is the divine power within us is projected out. And we have to work hard to be able to vanquish these demons' powers. In the Durga Saptashati, the first chapter deals with the story of the son of Suryadeva called Savarani, who attains the position of the 8th Manu. In our scriptural texts, the chunks of periods is divided into Manvantaras, and each Manvantara is lauded by one Manu. Now the story which occurs in the first chapter, I'm not going to concentrate only on the first chapter, because dealing with all the chapters would be difficult. Time will not permit. In this chapter, there is the story of an emperor who was ruling at the time of Manvantara called, the Manvantara called Sarochich. And the king was ruling, the emperor was ruling, it was called Suratha. This Suratha was ruling the world with righteousness and following all dharmas. And yet, one clan of Kshatriyas called the Kola Vidwansi became very ambitious. They waged a war against their own king. There was a fierce fight, and yet the king lost the war. And these Kula Vidwansis, Kshatriyas, annexed a whole lot of area, a lot of his kingdom, and started ruling independently. Now Surat was very upset, very dejected. He also felt ashamed that he could not keep up the kingdom intact, which came to him from generations of his forefathers. He was feeling guilty, very upset. He could not understand what went wrong, that his own citizens rose up against him. Unable to quieten down or get some peace in the kingdom, he left the kingdom on pretext of hunting and went off to the forest to find some peace for himself. He roamed around the forest, but all the time he was troubled by this guilt and this destructive feeling which was annoying him all the time, that what went wrong, that his own people had to do this. He was also very sad that he was not able to find any peace in spite of all his best efforts to quieten down his mind. As he was roaming around in the forest once, he saw another man, well-dressed, also listlessly roaming around in the forest, also looking very unhappy. So Surat accosted this man and inquired, "Brother, why are you roaming around the forest alone? And what is the reason that you're looking so dejected?" The newcomer introduced himself, said his name was Samadhi, and he was a very rich man, a businessman. He had all that the world could give him to give him happiness. He had a large family, and he was very happy living that life. But after his sons grew up, they became greedy, started mistreating and ill-treating him, and ultimately distanced him. He was not able to stay around in this kind of atmosphere. So he, in search of peace, had come away to the forest. Now Surat found that the story was the same with both of them. Both of them had come away to the forest to find some peace, but none of them were peaceful. Surat shared his sad story with Samadhi and said, "I myself am struggling to come over the disturbances, the dejection, the feeling of guilt that I'm carrying, but I'm not able to find any peace." So they decided to seek help from a sage who was living nearby in an ashram. They went humbly and lay bare their hearts, telling their stories and seeking his advice as to how they could get some peace for themselves. Now the name of the sage was Medha. And he said, "Dear ones, it is not you alone who's facing this problem. This is the play of Mahamaya. Everybody, may it be a beast, a bird, or a human, is facing the same problem. Why? Because they get attached to the external comforts and the amenities that are provided, and when it is not available, they are very unhappy. It is not the amenities which they miss actually and they feel sorry, but actually it is the attached mind which is troubling them." He showed them a bird and said, "Now come on, look at this bird. It is actually hungry, but it is struggling to find feed for its little ones. It is hungry, and yet it will pick small grains of feed for them and put it lovingly into their opening beaks. See, this is the play of Mahamaya. And he said, it is not easy to get over the effect of this Maya. Even great intellectuals, sages, and even devatas fall prey to this Mahaya's effect, or the effect that it plays upon the people who live in the world. And he told them a story. He said, once upon a time, even Lord Mahavishnu came under the sway of Mahamaya, and he was happily sleeping on the Adisesha when Lord Brahma, who is originated from his navel, was facing a very difficult times, and Mahavishnu was not even aware of it. Then Lord Brahma thought of the difficulty, the challenge that is upon him, when two demons emerged from the ears, the residue of the ears of Mahavishnu. They were Madhu and Kaitava. These two demons who came out from Lord Vishnu's ears wanted to kill Brahma because they found him just happily sitting there when nobody was around. Lord Brahma understood what was going in the minds of Madhu and Kaitava. So he prayed to Mahamaya to lift her effect from Lord Vishnu's heart so that he could be awakened and could fight the demons and save him. Ultimately, the Mahamaya left the being Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu, realizing the danger that was upon Lord Brahma, fought a long war with these two demons. And only after a very intellectual trick, he could defeat them and kill them. Now, apparently, when you look at the stories of Suratha and Samadhi or of Lord Vishnu, you may feel, what is happening? What is all this? What is this that is actually to be read as a divine contemplation or thoughts of God on such lovely and holy days? As the erudite scholar spoke to us on first evening and said that these stories of Puranas and Upanishads cannot be taken categorically. There are deep spiritual connotations of them which have to be understood. And when these spiritual truths are not understood, then there are people who either remain indifferent to these stories or sometimes even criticize. So what we need to understand is, how do these stories actually give us lessons of life and messages that can help us in our life? Now, Suratha, coming back to the story of Suratha and Samadhi, actually, if you look at the names also, I was quite intrigued by the names, and I thought there has to be something different than this. Why Samadhi and Suratha and Medha are the names? And the Kshatriyas who took over a large kingdom of King Suratha had the name Kula Vidvansi and all. So this is what I understood, and I would like to share it with all of you. Now, usually Swami compares human being to a chariot, which is driven by 5 horses, very powerful horses. And these 5 horses are actually the sense organs, which, if not regulated, can be very, very harmful for the person. Now, if the mind is behind or holding the reins of this chariot, it cannot be, it's not as yet Suratha. Suratha means a safe ride on a chariot. But here, when the mind is distracting the senses towards the ephemeral attractions of the world, it is not yet Suratha. So what happens? Samadhi also falls into the same category of disturbed being because he is not yet a Suratha. It is Medha, the name of the sage, Medha, that is the buddhi, the discrimination power which the man is endowed with. When that intervenes, and when the Medha Shakti or the Buddhi Shakti or the discriminative power of man holds the reins to control and regulate these 5 houses, only then our journey is actually Suratha, or safe journey, which can take us or reach us to our final goal of freedom, of joy, bliss, and security. Till then, we are not safe. Coming to the story of Mahavishnu again, remember, these 2 demons have come out of the ear of Mahavishnu. That is, the evil is not somewhere outside. It is within. It is coming from within. It gets projected outside. Now, who is going to help? The Mahavishnu here also represents a normal human being who has got evil and good both, a mixture of both in his being. Now, Lord Brahma, who is symbolic of Vidya, of knowledge, of wisdom, is here. He has got a threat from these 2 demons. That is, the negativities, the Shat-vikaras that we have inside us, try to attack the wisdom that also is there within us. Now, when Lord Brahma prays to Mahamaya, Lord Vishnu awakens and saves Lord Brahma. That is, we have to awaken the divinity which is within us. And when that divinity is awakened, then through wisdom we are saved. So that is the symbolic meaning as I understand from the chapter 1. Similarly, when we talk of the Devi destroying the Mahishasura, it is the ego in us which is destroyed. When we think of the chapter when Devi is destroying the Raktabija, it is the cancerous cells within us that have to be destroyed. Again, it is the supreme power which is we are endowed with within us that has to work for us to make our journey, the life journey, safe so that we are able to reach our destination of freedom, of bliss, of joy and safety. Now, coming to the next part of my talk that is centered upon 2 + 1, 3 names of Devi. The first name is in the Shatanama of Durga. The name which attracted me was Praudha. Praudha means a woman ripe of age, elderly women. And another name which attracted me was Vriddhamata, a mother who is aged. Now, I would like to see these names in the present scenario of mushrooming old age homes in every city and town today, particularly in Bharat, where Matradevo Bhava was one of the first injunctions to be followed when we wanted to follow Dharma. We need to take care of our mother. It is strange today that the old aged mother, instead of being at home, is found in old age home. We have to take care of these things. Only then we can get our divinity coming out to help us cross over this Mahasamsara Sagara. The third name which attracted me most was the Bhadra. The Bhadra name occurs many times in Saptati and also in Lalita Sahasranama, like Bhadrakali, Bhadrapriya, Bhadrarupa, and so such many names. Bhadra actually literally may mean safety, security, and the one which grants well-being. And when you think of a mother who is compassionate and takes maximum care of her devotees, we think of nobody else but our Sai Ma. And I would like to narrate a couple of experiences to show how much is the concern of this mother for us. My first experience is regarding my younger sister. She was Veena. After her graduation in Bhagwan's college, Swami suggested that she does MA in philosophy and that also in Tirupati. Meanwhile, by Bhagwan's command, I was also doing my research in Tirupati. So I happened to be there. She got first rank in her previous, that is MA previous philosophy, and she was aiming for a high rank in the second year also. And the exams are fast approaching. Just a couple of days and then the examination preparation holidays were already on. When she was preparing with such intensity for her exam, just because she thought she wants to make Swami happy by getting the highest rank, suddenly she developed a lot of pain in her abdomen. It suddenly came, but miraculously went off in about 10 minutes' time. But after every 5-6 hours, she would get this sudden pain, and it would automatically subside after about 10-15 minutes. I watched her for 2 days, but because it didn't subside properly, it kept coming back. And because the examinations were fast approaching, I thought of taking her to the hospital. There was a small dispensary in the university campus. I took her there. They gave her 2 days medicine, which didn't help. Rather, the pain got aggravated and the frequency became more of the pain. She was not able to study, and the intensity of the pain was so much that she would roll on the floor, pressing on that part of the abdomen where she was getting this acute pain. When this did not help, I took her again, and they referred her to the government hospital, the Ruya hospital, which is there in Tirupati, to be checked there. I took her there. After all the tests, it was found that she had a good-sized stone in her kidney, which was obstructing and giving her a lot of pain. And the only way of getting rid of this pain was operation. And they asked me that you should call your parents, they should sign, and we should undergo the operation. I was in a fix. We were quite shocked with this revelation of the doctors. The examinations are just 12 days ahead. She wants to do well. She's been studying hard. And if this operation is to be taken, and if the parents have to be called, how will she be able to write the exam? I had many worries in my mind, and we didn't know anybody in Tirupati, so I could not discuss with anybody. And the fastest communication method was the telegram at that time. This is when it was 1982. So even if I were to give a telegram to parents, it would take 2 days minimum to reach Haryana. My father was at that time posted in Haryana. And then even if he started immediately, it would take 3 days for him to reach Tirupati. And by then, half the time of the study leave would have been over. And after that, he signs, and then where would he stay and whether she would be able to take the exam. And the delay and the pain, I just left everything to Swami, surrendered to him, and I explained my difficulty to the doctors and myself signed it. They gave the next day as the admission day, and I took her there. She was admitted. All the pre-operation procedures were undertaken. And the next day was her operation at around 10 o'clock in the morning. I was very worried because I was worried on 3 grounds. That is, how will I be able to take care of her post-operation in the hostel, because all hostels are not like Swami's hostel. Secondly, if my decision was really correct without any discussion with the parents, because if, God forbid, something happens, then who will be responsible? And thirdly, whether immediately after the operation will she be healthy enough to be able to take the examination. Anyway, all these worries I left to Bhagwan. I signed and I had taken her, and next day, 10 o'clock, she was wheeled into the operation theatre. I sat there outside the bench praying very hard to Bhagwan that he should intervene and take care, because I have taken such a step. I was myself just a student then. So after 20 minutes of her going inside the OT, the doctors, 2 doctors and a technician came out with 3 x-rays in their hands, and they started discussing something, standing in the sunlight. They wanted to have a closer look at the x-rays, and they were discussing something, and I didn't find it very pleasant. I got worried. So after some time, I approached them and said, "Doctor, is everything all right?" He said, "No, it doesn't look all right." I was panicked, and then he explained, saying that, "Look at this x-ray, the stone is very clearly seen, and the 2 x-rays that we have taken now, we cannot see any stone at all." My eyes full of tears of gratitude for I understood where the stone had gone in just one night. My sister was wheeled into the OT and she came jumping outside saying that the doctors have told me to go. What has happened? No operation now? Because she was not explained why. I said, I will tell you. And I told the whole story of how there was no stone now and they have given her permission to come away. She was shocked and suddenly she remembered that she had a lovely dream of Bhagwan on the hospital bed the previous night that she had forgotten in the morning to communicate to me. She said she was crossing over a small bridge, it seems, over a fast-flowing river. And when she was halfway through the bridge, Swami came from the other side of the bridge, walking very fast towards her, stopped her halfway and said, no, you will not proceed now. You will not cross the bridge now. You can go back to the hostel. She said, okay, Swami. She happily accepted it and she was about to ask for namaskar. Swami said, take namaskar. And immediately she took namaskar. Meanwhile, Swami created vibhuti for her and applied on that part of her stomach, abdomen, where actually there was intense pain all these days. And then we knew how Swami had healed her in the night at the hospital itself. So this is the Amma. The mother, Bhadra, at work. I would like to share another of my experience. This is related to my elder sister. Her name was Lata. She had worked in the Ishwarama school, the OT school, and also in the primary school. She was, after her graduation, when she asked Swami what she should do next in her studies, Swami told her, you do B.Ed, so that by the time I'm going to open a school here, primary school then was not yet here, and Swami was planning to open it, to construct it. By the time the school comes up, you will be ready to join the school. And similarly, he told 3 of classmates to join and do B.Ed. Actually, the time was late, and through Swami's intervention, they got seat in a college, B.Ed college in Machilipatnam, a coastal city or a town of Andhra. From their roof, they could see the sea. Actually, because they were late, they could not get a place in the hostels. They were placed in a room above the auditorium in the campus. One day, after a couple of months of their stay there was a prediction of a massive cyclone coming over the town. So the whole hostels were all evacuated, and the children were mostly locals. They went off home. Because these 4 of them did not have any local place where they could go, they continued to stay there. The campus was fully vacated, and they were the only 4 ones in that room. When the cyclone suddenly took a very, very serious turn. It was evening, and the gale from the sea had the speed of more than 100 kilometers per hour. The currents went off. There was rain slashing over the room. The windows were getting pushed open on their own. They tried to latch it. Ultimately, they had to tie it all up. Somehow they latched the room. It was totally getting dark inside. They couldn't see anything when the door also flung open, even with 2 latches put on to it. So somehow they gathered all the cots, the 4 cots that they had in the room, one over the other. They gathered it, pushed it against the door to keep it closed, and they stacked their luggage on it. They couldn't see anything. It started getting very dark, and the slashing rain, terrible rain, the lightning, and the noise and the sounds of crashing windows, doors around was so much that they were so petrified, very scared. They just said, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram all the time. Slowly, the water started getting into the room. They were almost, by the time it was 11:30, 12 in the night, they were knee deep in the water. They didn't know what to do, because if the water level continued to rise, they will be drowned. They felt that the sea was all around them and they may not be able to see the next morning light. But still, at such times, it is Bhagwan who is our anchor. So they just stood in the waters of the room and said, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram loudly. Meanwhile, my mother had a vivid dream-like vision in which she saw my sister surrounded in water, crying out to her for help. Mummy, Mummy, help me, I'm getting drowned. Mummy, help me. And she got up with that fright. Exactly, it was at the same time when these people in the room had felt as if the sea would come over them. The boom of the sea was over them all around. At that particular point of time, she had this vision. She got up with fright. My father tried to console her. It was of no use. Somehow they spent the night saying Sai Ram. In the morning, when my father, as usual, put on the radio to hear the news, the first news of this cyclone and the devastating effect of it in Machilipatnam, which the worst hit, was heard by him. He was shocked. He could not understand. And then the dream and this news, immediately he put off the radio. Those days there were no TVs, radio. And he wondered what should he be doing to find out, because there were no communications. The few numbers that he had were landline numbers and they were not available because anyway, then there was nothing, no connectivity at all to Machilipatnam, as all the poles, the trees were uprooted and thrown away kilometers away. There was no connectivity and there was no way of finding out what has actually happened to her. Somewhere he feared that he had lost her firstborn, his firstborn. Lata was the eldest. He tried his best. Somehow, Swami's grace, through a lot of manipulations, he got a seat in a chopper and he was given the permission to land it in the campus itself. He just wanted to find out what happened to Lata, because there was no way of finding out what actually has happened. So that was the fourth day by the time he managed to take off from Haryana and come away and landed in Machilipatnam campus itself. But as he was informed that all four of them were safe, they were alive, but they had gone away to Parthi in a jeep. So my father was in two minds whether he should fly again to Parthi or what is to be done, when suddenly a jeep came and stopped in front of the chopper, the helicopter, and Lata, looking at the mark of the Air Force helicopter, jumped out of the jeep and ran towards the helicopter. My father noticed her when he was about to take off with the pilot. When he noticed her, he jumped out of the helicopter and they both met, running each other. So that you can imagine the joy that they felt at that particular time. Look at this mother, the Bhadra Amma. She was so concerned that I was here to attend Bhagwan's birthday celebrations. I had to come over to Tirupati. Swami walked all the way from the side path of the auditorium, that is a Purnachandra auditorium, where the passage is left near the pillars. He walked all the way because I was an ex-student at that time, an alumni. We were made to sit somewhere in the center of the hall. Swami came up till there and signaled me to come out. Of course, I couldn't make out immediately. There were others, and ultimately I came out and Swami said, yes, you. And I came over to him and took namaskar, and he said, don't worry about your sister. She is safe. I'm watching over them. Look at that love. This is not the end of the story. The most beautiful part of the story was, while all the buildings of the campus were either fallen half or cracked or in a very bad shape, only this auditorium building was intact. So the people this much later we got to know that people who wanted to know why, how come this alone is safe while all the other buildings had half collapsed or destroyed to some extent at least. Then they found out that the satellite photographs, through the satellite photographs, that when this huge wave, that is, it was a wall, a vertical wall, some 18 to 20 feet high, which swept over the city just in a few minutes, had destroyed fully. When it closed, or when it came near the auditorium, it just parted its tongue into two and left the auditorium like an island in between the sea water. Imagine what concern. Is there anybody who can do this? Is there anybody who can take care like this? Except the Bhadra Amma, the Sai Amma who is sitting here. So I have just a few words in the end. I think it's getting time. Why we should rely on this mother who is all the time concerned of all of us, each one of us, every minute of our lives, not just one life, life after life, is because of four things. See, both the conditions with my sisters, the parents did not even know about it. Swami knows what you are facing when you're facing difficult times. Secondly, he loves you intensely. And because of that, he never fails you. You have to rely on him. You have to leave it on him. He will never, ever fail you. That is why my last message to you today is that always rely on this Amma who is Bhadramma and all the time concerned for our well-being, our good, and our security and safety. Sai Ram.
Thank you, ma'am, for narrating the story of King Surata, Merchant Samadhi, and Sage Mehta from Durga Saptashati and enlightening us as to how to awake the divinity within us. The wonderful experiences shared by you, ma'am, revealed clearly that Mother Bhadra has manifested here as our Sai Ma and is protecting us and showering on us the love of 1,000 mothers. Thank you very much, ma'am. As we come to a close of this year's Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha, the last shloka of Saundarya Lahari seems appropriate. Though it was meant for the verses in that text, it is rightly appropriate to all the talks delivered here. The meaning goes thus: O Mother of Diction, composing this hymn in your praise with words originating from thee is like adoring the sun by offering a light before him, offering the moon drops of water flowing out of a moonstone, and pleasing the ocean by pouring water into it. Now I pray to Bhagwan to bless us all with his divine discourse. After Bhagwan's discourse, we will have a musical offering titled Bhakti Rasamala by the students of Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Ananthpur campus. Jai Sai Ram.
వేద వేదాంగములు వల్లె వేసి ఉన్న వేద వేదాంగములు వల్లె వేసి ఉన్న పద్య గద్యంబులను కూర్పగలిగియున్న చిత్తశుద్ధియు లేకున్న చెడును వాడు మరువబోకుడు ఇటువంటి మంచి మాట మరువబోకుడు మరువబోకుడు ఇటువంటి మంచి మాట.
One may get by heart and repeat all sacred texts, Vedas and Vedangas. One might even compose poems, poetry and prose which is most impressive. But without the purity of heart, one ruins himself. Do not forget this good word.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
Embodiments of love.
వేదము ద్వైతమనియు వేదాంతము అద్వైతమనియు అనేక విధములైనటువంటి ఆదర్శముల చేత ఆధారముల చేత శంకరుల వారు ప్రచార ప్రబోధన సలుపుతూ వచ్చారు.
Shankara propagated his doctrine and theory that Veda is dualism, while Vedanta is non-dualism, basing on so many evidences.
వేదాంతములకు ఉన్నటువంటి యొక్క వ్యత్యాసములు మానవ శరీరంలో ఉండినటువంటి అంగములకు శరీరములకు ఉండినటువంటి వ్యత్యాసమే.
The difference between Veda and Vedanta is same as difference between the various limbs and the body.
కన్నులు, చెవులు, ముక్కు, నోరు, చేతులు, కాళ్ళు ఇవన్నీ కూడాను దేహమునకు అంగములు.
Eye, the ear, the mouth, nose, all these are the different parts of the body.
దేహములు సమాజమునకు అంగము.
Body is a limb of the society.
సమాజము మానవతకు అంగము.
The society is a limb of humanity.
ఈ మానవత్వము ప్రకృతికి అంగము.
Humanity is a part of nature.
ప్రకృతి పరమాత్మ అంగము.
Nature is the limb of the divinity.
కనుక అంగాంగముల యొక్క వ్యత్యాసము లోతులకు దిగి విచారించినప్పుడు అన్ని ఒక్కటిగానే ఏర్పడతాయి.
Therefore, when we go into the depth and inquire, we understand its same relationship among the various limbs of the same body.
సమస్యల పరిహారం చేసుకోవటము మానవుని యొక్క ప్రధాన సమస్య.
The main problem lies in finding out a solution.
జీవితం అంతా కూడా సమస్యల యొక్క తోరణంగానే రూపొందుతుంది.
Life is full of problems as such.
మానవుడు తన నిత్య జీవితంలో చింతలేనటువంటి యొక్క సమయం అనేటువంటిదే కనిపించదు.
In fact, there's no time left without anxiety and worry.
పుట్టుట ఒక చింత,
Birth itself,
భూమి నుండుట చింత,
life on earth,
సంసారం ఒక చింత,
family,
చావు చింత,
death,
బాల్యమంతయు చింత,
childhood,
వార్ధక్యం ఒక చింత,
old age,
జీవించుటొక చింత,
our living,
చెడుపు చింత,
failure,
కర్మలన్నీయు చింత,
all actions,
కష్టము ఒక చింత,
difficulties,
సంతసం ఒక చింత,
even
వింత
pleasure,
చింత,
the mystery, all our problems.
సర్వ చింతల బాపెడి సర్వేశ ప్రేమ కొనుడి ఇకనైన ప్రజలార కోర్క మీరా, కొనుడి ఇకనైన ప్రజలార కోర్క మీర, కొనుడు ఇకనైన ప్రజలార కోర్క మీరా.
O people, at least desire wholeheartedly love for God. That would be a solution for all our problems and anxieties.
సమస్త చింతలకు ప్రేమనే పరిహారములకు మూల కారణం.
It is the love which is the only solution for all problems.
ప్రేమ ఉన్న చోట ద్వేషం ఉండదు.
Where there is love, there is no hatred.
ప్రేమ ఉన్న చోట వ్యత్యాసం కనిపించదు.
Where there is love, there are no differences.
ప్రేమ ఉన్న చోట అసూయ ఆరాదు.
There cannot be jealousy.
ప్రేమ సర్వ సమత్వమునకును సమన్వయం కావించేటువంటి యొక్క సమస్త శక్తివంతమైనటువంటి.
Love is so powerful that coordinates and integrates.
కానీ వేదమునందు ఇట్టి ప్రేమకు కొంత స్థలం తక్కువగా ఉన్నది.
However, there is little scope for love in Veda.
వేదము నిరంతరం కూడాను ఆశించున్నదే కానీ అనుభవించున్నది కాదు.
Veda always expects but doesn't show path to experience.
లోకములో అనేక మంది వేద పండితులు ఉంటున్నారు.
There are thousands of scholars in the world.
కానీ వేదమును వల్లి వేస్తున్నారు.
They repeat Veda.
తెల్లవారి మొదలు రాత్రి పరుండనంత వరకు వేదమును ఉచ్చరిస్తున్నారు.
From dawn to dusk, they go on chanting Veda.
కానీ ఇది ప్రకటితం మాత్రమే కానీ ఆచరణ తక్కువ.
It is only expression but not practice.
కనుకనే ఇది ద్వైతము అని చెప్తూ వచ్చాడు శంకర్ల వారు.
So Shankara called it dualism.
సుఖంచమే, సుదినంచమే, యుద్ధంచమే, భద్రంచమే, అంతా చమే 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 చమే. కావాలి 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 అని ఆశపడతాం.
All mantras convey the same meaning. I want, I want.
కావాలి అనేటువంటి ఒక వాంఛ ద్వైతములకు మూల కారణము.
The desire is the basis for
ఏదో
dualism.
ఒకటి ప్రత్యేకంగా ఉండినప్పుడే కదా అది నాకు కావాలి అని ఆశించటం.
Because of the existence of a separate object, you desire it.
ఇక్కడ ఆశించే వ్యక్తి, ఆశింపబడేటువంటి వస్తువు రెండు ప్రత్యేకంగా ఉంటున్నాయి.
Here there are two, the one who desires and the desired.
కనుకనే ఆశ, ఆశించేటువంటి వాడి ఏకత్వమే నిజమైన అద్వైతము.
Therefore, the unity of the desire and the desired is non-dualism.
ఆశించేవాడు ఆశించే పదార్థముల కంటే భిన్నంగా ఉండినప్పుడు ఇది ద్వైతమే ఏర్పడుతుంది.
The one who desires is separate from the desired, that is
ఇది ఒక
dualism.
కర్చీఫ్.
This is
ఈ
kerchief.
కర్చీఫ్ నాకు కావాలి.
I want this
ఈ
kerchief.
కర్చీఫ్ ప్రత్యేకంగా ఒకటి ఉండినప్పుడే కదా నేను దానిని ఆశిస్తున్నాను.
Because kerchief is separate, I want it.
ఈ కర్చీఫ్ వేరు, నేను వేరు.
Kerchief is separate from me.
కనుక ఇది ద్వైతంగా రూపొందుతుంది.
This is dualism.
ఇదే కర్చీఫ్ లోపల అద్వైతాన్ని మనం చక్కగా నిరూపించవచ్చు.
We can also prove non-dualism through the same
ఇది ఏమిటి?
example. What's this?
ఇది ఒక హ్యాండ్ కర్చీఫ్.
This is a handkerchief.
ఇది ఒక బట్ట.
This is a cloth.
కానీ దీనిని విచారణ చేసి పరిశోధన చేసినప్పుడు ఇది వస్త్రము కాదు, ఇది దారముల యొక్క చేరిక.
If you investigate and proceed further, you will know it's bundle of threads.
ఇది దారములు కాదు, ఇది ప్రత్తి.
It's not even a thread, it's cotton.
ప్రత్తి, దారము, బట్ట మూడు ఒక్కటే.
Cotton, thread and cloth are one and the same.
ఇక్కడ రెండు విధములైనటువంటి యొక్క విభాగములు మనము విచారించాలి.
Here we have understand the dichotomy.
ప్రత్యక్షం, పరోక్షము.
One is direct, other is indirect.
అయితే ప్రత్యక్షంగా అనుభవించినటువంటిది కొందరు దాని యొక్క విషయమును ప్రత్యేకించి చెప్పలేకపోతారు.
Those that have direct evidence or experience cannot say it out openly.
ఒక మూగవాడు షడ్రసోపేతమైనటువంటి యొక్క పదార్థములంతా భుజించాడు.
A dumb person has partaken delicious items.
కానీ ఒక్కొక్క దాని రుచి ఏ విధంగా ఉన్నదని తనకు తెలియనే కానీ దానిని విచారించి, వర్ణించి, వివరించి మరొకరికి చెప్పడానికి వీలు కాదు.
He knows the taste of every item served, but he cannot explain the taste of every item.
చెప్పలేడు కూడాను.
He cannot express.
కనుకనే అద్వైతంలో ఉండినటువంటి ఆనందము మానవులకు దాన్ని వెలుబుచ్చడానికి వీలు కానటువంటిది.
Therefore, the bliss in the state of non-dualism is beyond expression.
అనుభూతిలో మనకు అర్థమవుతుందే కానీ దాన్ని వివరించి ప్రజలకు విబోధించటము వీలు కాదు.
You can only experience, but you cannot profess or express.
ఇక్కడ పరోక్షమే లేకుండా ప్రత్యక్షమే శూన్యం.
In fact, if there is no this indirect approach, you cannot have direct
కానీ
experience.
దురదృష్టవశాత్తు ఈనాడు ప్రత్యక్షమునకే ప్రమాణం ఇస్తున్నారు కానీ పరోక్షమునకు ఏమాత్రము అవకాశం అందించటం లేదు.
But unfortunately, we go by the direct evidence. but do not
పరోక్షాన్ని
confess
విశ్వసించడం
indirect.
లేదు.
We have no faith in the indirect
దీనికి ఒక
proof.
చిన్న ఉదాహరణ.
A small example.
ఐసు గడ్డ ఉంటుంది.
Here is an ice ball.
ఈ ఐసు గడ్డ ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రమాణం.
This ice mass or ball is a direct proof.
కానీ పరోక్షమైనటువంటి జలము దీనికి ఆధారంగా ఉంది.
But there is water which is the indirect evidence for
ఈ
the existence.
పరోక్షమైన జలమే లేకపోతే ప్రత్యక్షమైన ఐసే లేదు.
Without that water which is indirect basis, you don't have direct ice
కనుకనే
here.
ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రమాణమైనటువంటి ఒక ఐసు గడ్డకు పరోక్షమైనటువంటి జలము ఆధారము.
Therefore, for the ice that you see directly, the water is responsible. which is
కాబట్టి ఈ
indirect
ప్రత్యక్షమునికి
evidence.
ఏది ప్రధానము, ఏది ప్రమాణము? పరోక్షమే ఆధారము, పరోక్షమే ప్రమాణము.
So for the direct experience, is the indirect evidence is the basis.
కనుకనే దృశ్య కల్పితమైనటువంటి ఈ జగత్తునికి అంతా కూడాను పరోక్షమైనటువంటి మూలాధారమైనటువంటి యొక్క దివ్యత్వం ఆధారం.
Therefore, for all this apparent world, the divinity behind is
ఈ
the basis.
సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించుకొనలేక
Without knowing this truth,
మానవుడు
man
వేదమే వేదాంతంగా భావించుకొని వేదమే అద్వైతంగా విశ్వసించి వేదమునే ఉచ్చరిస్తూ వేదంలో ఉండినటువంటి యొక్క విషయములను అనుభవించుటకు ప్రయత్నిస్తుంటాడు.
considers that Veda and Vedanta are one and the same, and thinks that Veda speaks of non-dualism and spends all his life chanting
మానవుడు
Veda.
ప్రాకృతమైనటువంటి జీవితంలో కాలం గడుపుతున్నాడు.
Man spends the worldly,
భౌతికమైనటువంటి యొక్క జీవితంలో కాలం గడుపుతున్నాడు.
he leads a worldly life.
అనిత్యమైనటువంటి యొక్క ప్రకృతి యందు కాలం గడుపుతున్నాడు.
He spends in this momentary world.
కానీ ప్రకృతి ప్రాకృతమైనటువంటిది.
This nature
ఇది
is,
ప్రవృత్తితో కూడినటువంటిది.
the nature speaks of
కానీ
outward
దీనికి
trend,
విరుద్ధమైనటువంటి నివృత్తి వేరే ఉంటుండాలి.
but there is eternal inward
ఈ
path.
నివృత్తికి ఆధారమైనటువంటిదే పరతత్వము.
Therefore, the inward path is actually spiritual.
మీరు చాలా మంది పిల్లలు చూసి ఉంటారు.
Many students must have,
చక్కెరతో కొన్ని బొమ్మలు చేసి పెడతారు.
there are certain,
నక్క, కుక్క, ఏనుగో, ఈ పిల్లి ఇలాంటివంతా చేసి పెడతారు.
we have got so many dolls made up of candy, sugar.
కానీ పిల్లలు రూపాన్ని మాత్రమే చూస్తారు.
Children watch the form.
నాకు నక్క కావాలి, నాకు కుక్క కావాలి.
I want fox, I want dog.
నక్క, కుక్క రూపనామములు వేరువేరుగా ఉన్నాయి కానీ అన్నింటి యందు చక్కెర ఒక్కటే.
The dog and fox are separate, but the candy, sugar is one and the same.
ఆ నక్కలో ఉన్నటువంటి చెవులు కొంచెం గిల్లి నోట్లో వేసుకో తీయగుంది.
If we just cut off the ear of the fox and eat it, is sweet.
ఆ నక్కలో ఉన్న తోకను కొంచెం గిల్లి నోట్లో వేసుకో తీయగుంది.
Cut off the tail, yet it is sweet.
ఈ సర్వ స్వరూపమంతా కూడాను మాధుర్యమే.
The entire form is nectarine, sweet.
దైవత్వం సర్వత్రా ఉంటున్నదనేటువంటి ఒక సత్యాన్ని తాను గుర్తించి ప్రబోధిస్తూ వచ్చాడు శంకర్.
Shankara recognized and propagated the basic fundamental principle that divine is
ఇది
present
భక్తుల యొక్క
everywhere.
భేదాభావము చేతనే భగవంతునకు ఒక ప్రత్యేకతని ఇస్తుకుంటూ తన ఆరాధన స్వరూపానికే ప్రత్యేకతను అందిస్తూ మిగతా దానికి ఏమాత్రం కూడా స్థానం ఇవ్వకపోవటమే ఈ ద్వైతానికి మూల కారణం.
Its only differences are because of the feelings and the sentiments of the devotees who always think of a name and a form.
ఒక శ్రీమంతుడైనటువంటి వాడు
A rich man
ద్వైత భావంతో కూడినటువంటి భక్తితో
with a dualistic mind
కృష్ణ అంటే చాలా ప్రేమ,
has intense love for Krishna.
ఈ కృష్ణ విగ్రహాన్ని చేయించుకొని నిత్యము కృష్ణుని పూజించాలి, కృష్ణాభిషేకం చేయాలి, ఈ అభిషేక తీర్థము నేను దినము రోలాలి అనేటువంటి సంకల్పం చేసుకున్నాడు.
He determined to worship the idol of Lord Krishna every day and partake prasad or sacrificial food thereafter.
ఒక 20 కాసులు ఇచ్చి కంసాలితో కృష్ణుని విగ్రహాన్ని చేయించుకున్నాడు.
He gives silver to the goldsmith, gold to goldsmith, and got made an idol of gold, Krishna's idol.
తర్వాత 20 కాసులు ఇచ్చి కృష్ణునికి ఒక గోవును చేయించాడు.
And he also got specially made cow of gold.
ఇంకా 20 కాసులు ఇచ్చి ఒక నెమలిని దగ్గర పెట్టుకునేటట్టుగా కృష్ణునికి ప్రక్కలో పెట్టాడు.
And he also made peacock made up of gold.
అభిషేకం చేయడానికి 20 కాసులు ఇచ్చి ఒక కప్పును చేయించుకున్నాడు.
For Abhisheka purposes he got made a gold cup.
నిత్యము ఆ కప్పుతో కృష్ణునికి అభిషేకం చేయటము, ఆ తీర్థం గోరటము, ఆనందించడం ఈ రకంగా జరుగుతూ వచ్చింది.
Every day he does this Abhisheka and drinks that tirtha after the ritual.
కానీ కాలం ఏనాటికి సమగ్గా ఉండదు.
Time will not be the same always.
కాలం ఎప్పుడు కూడాను ప్రవహించేటువంటి ప్రవాహం వంటిది.
Time always runs continuously.
ఇది కాల ప్రవాహము.
It's an eternal flow.
ఎప్పుడు హెచ్చు పల్లంలో చదువుతుందో తెలియడానికి వీలు కాదు.
No one can say when there will be bumps and jumps in life.
ఈ యొక్క క్షీణే పుణ్యే మధ్యలోకం విశంతి.
As the merit is
ఆ పుణ్య
exhausted,
ప్రాప్తి అంతా కూడా క్షీణించింది.
all the merit of the past
ఈ
is
శ్రీమంతుని యొక్క
exhausted.
పరిస్థితి దిగజారిపోతూ వచ్చింది.
The position of the rich man is not
కడపటికి
that good.
దినానికి జరగటమే చాలా కష్టమైపోయింది.
He could not carry out his daily living.
ఇంకా భరించుకోలేక
He couldn't bear.
ఈ పదార్థములు ఇంకొక శ్రీమంతుని దగ్గరికి తీసుకెళ్లాడు.
He collected all these golden objects and took it to another rich man.
అతనికి దీన్ని అమ్మి డబ్బు తీసుకోవాలని ప్రయత్నించాడు.
He wanted to dispose them off for money.
మొట్టమొదట గిన్నెను అభిషేకం చేసే గిన్నెను తూకం వేశాడు.
First he weighed that cup which is used for Abhisheka
ఇది
purpose.
20 కాసులు 20 కాసులు ఉంటున్నది.
He said its price is 20 cups,
60,000 రూపీస్.
60,000 rupees.
సరే, తరువాత ఒక నెమలిని తూకం వేశారు.
And then peacock is
ఇది
weighed.
60,000 రూపీస్.
Its price 60,000.
తర్వాత గోవును తూకం వేశాడు.
And also cow
ఇది
weight
60,000 రూపీస్.
is also 60,000.
తర్వాత
cups.
కృష్ణుని తూకం వేశాడు.
Then Krishna is
ఇతను కూడా
weighed.
60,000 రూపీస్
Its
అన్నాడు.
price is
అబ్బా
60,000.
ఏమిటి, గోవు, నెమలి, కప్పు, కృష్ణుడు అందరూ ఒకే వెళ్ళినా నేను భరించలేను.
He said, I can't bear this. What is the
కృష్ణుడికి
same
ఎక్కువ వెల
price?
ఇవ్వాలి అన్నాడు.
You should pay more for Krishna. You can't pay same to the peacock and to the cup
ఆ
and
కంసాలు
cow.
చెప్పాడు,
That rich man
సార్
said,
నీకు కృష్ణ రూపము, నెమలి రూపము, గో రూపము, కప్పు రూపంగా ఉంటుండాలి, నాకు తూకం ప్రధానము అన్నాడు.
that rich man said, you go by the form, whether it's a peacock or a cow or a cup or Krishna. But I go by the weight.
దానికి వాల్యూ ఇస్తూ వచ్చున్నాడు.
I attach value to the total weight.
బంగారు తూకమునకు వాల్యూ ఇస్తూ వచ్చాడు, కానీ రూపానికి వాల్యూ ఇవ్వలేదు.
The value is attached to the weight of the gold, but not
అదే
the
విధంగానే
form.
భిన్న భిన్న రూపములతో ఉండినటువంటి మానవత్వానికి మనము విలువలిస్తున్నామే కానీ అందరి యందు ఉండినటువంటి పంచభూతముల యొక్క పరమాత్మ తత్వానికి మనం విలువనివ్వటం లేదు.
Therefore, we attach value to the diversity, the multiplicity of the
ఆ
mankind,
పంచ
but not the unity.
భూతముల యొక్క పరతత్వమునకే అద్వైతం అన్నారు.
And therefore, the essential
ప్రతి
basic
మానవుని
fundamental
యందు కూడా ఈ
concepts.
పంచభూతం తప్ప మరొక భూతం ఇంకోటి అధికంగా లేదు.
In every person, 5 elements are present. Not
ఆరవ
the sixth
భూతమే
one.
లేదు.
There is no sixth element as such.
ఈ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క ఏకత్వం చేత ఎంతైనా ఆనందం మనకు కలుగుతుంది
This principle of unity, oneness, will
అని
give you joy and
శంకర్ల
bliss.
వారు అద్వైతాన్ని ప్రకటిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
That is the teaching of Shankara.
అయితే అది అంత సులభం కాదు.
However, that's not simple and easy.
కానీ దానికి అనేక రకములైనటువంటి యొక్క విచారణ జరగాలి.
One must investigate and inquire.
దీనికి తగినటువంటి సంస్కృతి సంస్కారం కూడా ఉండాలి.
One should have that
ఈ
refinement.
సంస్కారం పరిపక్వ దిశలో రావాలి.
And one should reach that
ఈ
maturity.
సంస్కారం పరిపక్వమైనప్పుడు అంతా ఒకటనేటువంటి భావం సులభంగా మనకు వస్తుంది.
When his sadhana aspiration matures,
అట్టి
naturally
భావం
you realize.
కలిగినటువంటి వాడు ఎంత అదృష్టవంతుడు.
Really, he is a lucky soul who attains that state.
అతని కంటే ఇంకా అదృష్టవంతుడు మరొక జగత్తులో లేడు.
There is no luckier person other than him.
హే శివ శంకర నమామి శంకర శివ శంకర శంభో. హే గిరిజాపతి భవాని శంకర. హే గిరిజాపతి భవాని శంకర. భవాని శంకర శివ శంకర శంభో. శివ శంకర శంభో. శివ శంకర శంభో. హే శివ శంకర నమామి శంకర శివ శంకర శంభో. హే గిరిజాపతి భవాని శంకర. హర భవాని శంకర. శివ భవాని శంకర. శివ శంకర శంభో. శివ శంకర శంభో. శివ శంకర శంభో. హే శివ శంకర భవాని శంకర శివ శంకర హే గిరిజాపతి భవాని శంకర. భవాని హర భవాని శంకర శివ శంకర శంభో. శివ శంకర శంభో. శివ శంకర శంభో.
It is the love that knows no particular reason for its manifestation. It is of the nature of the love of the soul for the oversoul, the river for the sea, the creeper for the tree, the star for the sky, the spring for the cliff down which it flows. It is sweet in bad times as well as good. Bhagwan thus describes bhakti. His words transcend time, they ring loud and clear till date. Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. The truth is one, but the wise refer to it in various ways. In our journey to the divine, we are fortunate to be guided by those who have traversed the path before us. For many of them, their one pointed focus towards the ultimate goal manifested in the form of music. Their songs resonate with bhakti. On this auspicious day of Saraswati Puja, we attempt to render to you, O Sai Saraswati, a few of their soulful songs. We, your students from the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Ananthpur campus, present a musical offering titled Bhakti Rasamala, a garland of the soulful compositions of your greatest bhaktas, the saints of Bharat.
Sant Mirabai and her beloved Lord Krishna, though parted by the chasm of time, are inseparable in the mind of a bhakta. The seeds of bhakti sown in her childhood as simple adoration for the Lord blossomed into a flower of pure, unalloyed devotion. That fragrance intoxicates the hearts of millions of devotees even to this day. Hey Giridhara Gopal, we now offer this song at thy lotus feet. every earnest prayer, innocent cry, and sincere effort in the pursuits of Lord never goes in vain. He cannot help but rush to his beloved Bhakta, like a mother who drops everything to embrace her little child. The same was true for Sri Kanakadasa, a great devotee of Lord Krishna of Udupi. As an outcast, he was denied entry into temples, but that did not deter him from the path of devotion. His soulful compositions are an outpouring of his love for the Lord. O Sai Krishna, we now offer to you one such song.
Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar is heralded as one of the greatest saints and composers of all times. His compositions echo with devotion to the Divine Mother and are replete with beautiful descriptions seamlessly woven with philosophical truths. The Kamalamba Navavarna, garland of Kritis in praise of Goddess Kamalamba of Tiruvarur, is a harmonious blend of bhakti, jnana and karma yoga, a treasure trove for spiritual seekers. Ma, we now offer to you the first of those kritis.
रक्षतु मां श्री कमलाम्बा रक्षतु मां श्री कमलाम्बा रक्षतु मां श्री
Sri Annamacharya, held as the Antrapada Kavita Pitamaha, is known for his candid portrayal of his conversations with the divine. His works espouse the subjects of righteousness, morality, and devotion. They reflect the gamut of emotions that a bhakta experiences through his highs and lows. This song personifies the awe of a devotee at beholding the grand form of Lord Narayana. Pray, accept this humble offering. Narayanate Namo Namo.
Sant Eknath is one of the most eminent saints of India, known for his soul-stirring abhangs. He showed us that one can be spiritually evolved while in the role of a householder. He considered Pandharpur as his maternal home and the river Chandrabhaga that washed over it as his sister. What better time to sing this composition as we sit at our maternal home in your loving proximity, O Mother Divine.
Jaya जय जय गणनायका जय जय विघ्नविनाशका
We'll conclude tomorrow morning with Bhagwan's divine blessings. The Purnachandra Auditorium will be opened for entry at 7:30 a.m. At around 9:10 a.m., we'll be blessed with Bhagwan's divine discourse. After Bhagwan's divine discourse, the proceeding of the Purnahuti ceremony of Veda Purusha Saptaha Jnana Yagnam will commence. After the Purnahuti, all devotees will be blessed to receive the Samprokshana of the Yagna Jalam, where the Veda Pandits will be sprinkling the holy Yagna water on all the devotees during the Bhajans. The morning session in the Purnachandra Hall will conclude with Mangalarti, following which the devotees can proceed to Sai Kulwant Hall to receive Bhagwan's Divya Darshan, which will conclude with Maha Mangalarti. The evening session in Sai Kulwant Hall will commence at 4:30 with Vedam chanting. At 4:45, the final day proceedings of the 7-day-long Prasanthi Vidwan Mahasabha will commence with invocatory Vedam, followed by a concluding talk on the Dasara celebrations at Prasanthi Nilayam. We'll then be having a devotional music program offered by Srimati S. Mahati from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. The evening session in Sai Kulwant Hall will conclude with Bhajans and Mangalarti, followed by Bhagwan's Divya Darshan. Jai Sai Ram.
ఓం శ్రీ సాయిరామ్. స్వామివారి దివ్యానుగ్రహ ఆశీస్సులతో ప్రశాంతి నీలములో జరుగుచున్న 7 రోజుల వేదపురుష సప్తాహ జ్ఞానయజ్ఞం రేపటి విజయదశమి పండుగ పర్వదినాన పూర్తి అగును. భక్తుల ప్రవేశార్థమై పూర్ణచంద్ర సభా మండపం రేపటి ఉదయం 7:30 తెరవబడును. సుమారు 9:10 స్వామివారి దివ్య సందేశం. తదుపరి వేదపురుష సప్తాహ జ్ఞానయజ్ఞ పూర్ణాహుతికి సంబంధించిన కార్యక్రమాలు మొదలగును. పూర్ణాహుతి కార్యక్రమానంతరం భజనల నడుమ పవిత్రమైన యజ్ఞజలాన్ని వేద పండితులు భక్తులపై సంప్రోక్షించెదరు. పూర్ణచంద్ర సభా మండపంలో రేపటి ఉదయ కార్యక్రమం మంగళహారతితో ముగియను. మంగళహారతి అనంతరం భక్తులు సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపంలో స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం గావించుకోగలరు. మహామంగళహారతితో స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం ముగియను. సాయి కుల్వంత్ సభా మండపంలో రేపటి సాయంకాల కార్యక్రమం 4:30 వేద పఠనంతో ప్రారంభమవుతుంది. 4:45 7 రోజుల ప్రశాంతి విద్వాన్ మహాసభ చివరి రోజు కార్యక్రమం వేదోచ్చారణతో ప్రారంభమై ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలో దసరా ఉత్సవాలపై ఓ సారాంశ ప్రసంగంతో కొనసాగును. తదుపరి తమిళనాడు రాష్ట్ర చెన్నై వాస్తవ్యులు శ్రీమతి ఎస్ మహతి గారు భక్తిపూర్వకంగా ఓ సంగీత కార్యక్రమాన్ని సమర్పిస్తారు. రేపటి సాయంకాల కార్యక్రమం భజనలతో కొనసాగి మంగళహారతితో ముగియను. అనంతరం స్వామివారి దివ్య దర్శనం. జై సాయిరామ్.
ఓం సాయేశ్వరాయ విద్మహే సత్యదేవాయ ధీమహి తన్నః సర్వః ప్రచోదయాత్. 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 ఓం साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्।